Hey y'all, so this past Friday at 4 a.m. I was woken up to some of the scariest words I've ever heard. I'm out here about to get the feeding done, and I have some thoughts I want to share with you guys, and I've got a story to tell you. What, Mama? Hey. So let me back up a little bit and start at the beginning. This has probably been the wildest year of Ben and I's marriage. Just lots of happenings, some good, some not so good, but I do believe it has probably been the wildest year yet for us. So we had some major things happen this year. Just going back to the beginning of the year, right off the bat, we lost someone really close to us. It was a young girl that was in her early 20s that Ben and I were involved serving in youth ministry right alongside. It was sudden. It rocked our whole church, our whole community. So that was such a huge gut punch, I guess you could say. Not long after that, we had an enormous situation that involved our family that I've never been able to publicly speak about and probably won't ever. But just suffice it to say, it wrapped up after almost 2 years. Only the people closest to us know about that, but it was such a huge thing in our lives that had been hanging over us for almost 2 years. Finally, that wrapped up. After that, we had a lot of good things happen. In fact, I'm sitting on one of them. I'm on the porch to the market. We built this market. Ben had major sinus surgery in the midst of building this. I want to kind of take you guys out here and show you what it looks like from out here. But we built this market, finished it out. We had a major eclipse come through this area in the midst of building this. Is that not so gorgeous? The roof up there, I'd have to get pretty far away for you to see it, is black. The underpinning's black. It just turned out fantastic. Try not to get too far ahead of myself and remember all these major things, because for one, I want to remember these for myself. Back up a little bit before the eclipse and before the sinus surgery. I got them out of order, but in February, Emily got engaged. So that was a major deal. We knew we were planning for a wedding for our son. If you're new around here, we have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. We already knew our son was getting married in May, and then after our daughter got engaged in February, it became apparent we were planning another wedding for August, so that's almost here at this point, you can see. A few weeks ago, she was involved in a little accident, so that has come along. And then last week hit. There's a lot more things in between there that I know I have forgotten, but suffice it to say, it's been a major year here in our family, in our lives. Lane and Emily, our kids who are getting married, helped us build this farm from the ground up. They can outwork a lot of people. So them moving out, so in the midst of the marriages and all that, obviously that comes with them moving out, and they've moved away from the farm. Lane has already moved probably 45 minutes from us. Emily will probably be the same distance in the opposite direction. So we've lost our best farmhands. Don't feel sorry for us. Ben and I are okay. We raised them to do this. And another major life happening this year is Lane took a full-time job as a youth pastor. Seeing your son serve the Lord and thrive in ministry there's just no other feeling I can compare it to. It's just amazing to raise them up, and especially if you're raising them up in the ways of the Lord, and then see them start to, take off and fly and soar and grow in their own walk and their own ministry. That's what you've raised them to do. So don't feel sorry for us. Ben and I are happy. In fact, we are so joyful. We're finding, each other again in our relationship, and we are just fine. That's what we raise these kids to do. But that is a major deal. So now we're left with the farm. It is thriving, y'all. This market, if you could see it on Friday afternoons, this parking lot will be packed. If I was not so busy when it was happening, I would probably just sit there and cry, because it is such a God thing. It's such a blessing. We have prayed with people whose spouses have died. We have, you know, met people that drove from states and states away just to come, and then we laugh and we cry with them. It's such an awesome thing that God has orchestrated, all because of this YouTube channel. I can't say thank you guys enough. So all of that has taken place and led us up to last week. There's more. I just remembered that I got, my mom spent time in and out of the hospital at lots and lots of doctors. Over the course of this year, 2024, she was just literally withering away before our eyes, and they could find nothing wrong. She had every test imaginable, trying to decide if there was something majorly wrong or just what was going on. She could not keep food down. Just her lack of, I know this is TMI, but it was coming out the other end, like she was severely dehydrated, just all the things, all to find out through our own trial and error that she had just all of a sudden developed an allergy to gluten. And as soon as she removed that from her diet, she'd removed everything else we could think of, nuts and seeds and all the things for diverticulitis that you can think of. But as soon as she removed gluten, she started to improve. But that was a major happening in our family. If you've been around here, you know my dad passed away a couple years ago. So she has us, and that's just how it is, and we wouldn't change it. We wouldn't want her to not depend on us, but that is another thing that was going on this year. Also, Emily was having a lot of health problems. We've been to rheumatologists, we've been to neurologists. They thought she might have lupus. Every doctor was convinced she had lupus for a while. She does not, thankfully. So we've had a lot of things going on with her and her health and all kinds of things. Also, if you're familiar with, you know, how it works, if you spend a lot of money, which we've been hemorrhaging money on this farm the last couple of years, then sometimes you get a little relief in tax refunds. Well, in the midst of all of these things going on, and both of our kids getting married, so we were sort of dependent on hoping we were going to get our tax money back, because in all reality, it is our money. Someone stole one of our identities and filed a tax return. Apparently that's very common these days, and when that happens, it's like, sorry, you cannot get a hold of anyone on the phone. They hold up your tax refund, and they hold it for weeks and weeks, and sometimes months, and sometimes years. So all that was going on. It's been resolved now, but that was a major source of stress, not knowing was that going to come in, because we had 2 weddings to help pay for, and just all the things. So last week comes, and on Monday, Ben just started to feel bad / off, like something was just not right with him. Something was going on. The next morning, he woke up, he was feeling worse. He missed work. He never misses work. If work's going on, Ben is going to be there. That's just how he is. And his job has changed in the last couple of years to where if you take off, it's a vacation time. So they removed all their sick days. And so it's just like, if you're not dying, you go to work. Well, I knew something was wrong when he said, I'm not going to work. I'm going to the doctor. He went to the doctor. They were concerned he had COVID. He did not wind up having COVID. He actually tested 3 times last week and was negative all 3 times. But it was just something going on that was like, okay, there's just several things going on here. Without giving too much of his info. And I just do want to say, Ben and I talked about whether or not to do this video, and we decided, you know, we chose to kind of live like an open book. And so that's what we're doing. And so he fully knows and fully supports putting this info out there. And especially if it helps someone else. But he had a lot of stomach things going on. He was having like body aches, fever, chills, then sweating episodes, just all kinds of weird things. Like his body was just not well. So the week went on, and then Wednesday he had a good day. And then by Thursday afternoon when he got home from work, he said, I just feel bad again. I don't know what is going on. I feel bad. And so we kind of took it easy Thursday evening, went to bed, and that is when everything went wrong. So from my perspective, I went to sleep. And I could hear him getting up during the night. I heard him shower once. That is not unusual. Ben has a lot of like migraines, and a lot of times he'll get up and shower and take like a really hot shower, trying to relax his neck, like his neck will get tense or whatever. So that did not concern me. I remember us talking and him saying that his neck was tight and he just didn't feel good and he was going to shower. And then the next thing I know, he says, hey, get up. And I thought, okay, am I snoring? What is going on here? He said, no, I'm serious. Get up. I need you. And this was the words that I'll remember what he said and how he said them, I think, for the rest of my life. He said, I need you to take me to the hospital. I think I'm having a heart attack. And I shot out of that bed like I was shot out of a cannon. I sprang into action. I'm actually kind of proud of myself because I'm not good under pressure. I'm good with animals. If your animal is sick or dying, I'm your girl. If a person, call someone else because I'm probably just going to freak out with you. But God gave me the calmness to do what I needed to do last Thursday morning. I jumped up, I grabbed my stuff, and we were out the door within minutes. And I was scared. I did want to call an ambulance. He said, absolutely not, because we're 30 minutes from the hospital. He said, we need to go and we can get there faster than they can get out here. So that is what we did. We took off, and Emily still lives at home. We went and woke her up and told her what was going on. This was all in the matter of seconds. We were running around. Ben was not running. He did not feel like running. But Emily and I were running around, and we get on the road to the hospital, and the person he wanted to call was Lane, our son. Even though it's 4 a.m., if you think every breath could be your last, things become radically clear very quickly. And that's all he wanted to do, was talk to both of our kids and hear their voices and tell them he loved them. And so that's what we did. We called them, and we get to the hospital in record time. I'm not even going to tell you how quick, because it was ridiculously quick. We got there, we went in, I told them, I said, I think my husband is having a heart attack. They got us right back. So what was happening was he felt like an elephant was sitting on his chest. His heart was racing, but then it would just feel like it kind of was like skipping a beat, like it was, they called it palpitations, like it was beating erratically and just kind of all over the place, and it would just like, and it was like these spells of it, and then he'd be okay for a few minutes, and then it would come again, and he felt like he couldn't get a good breath, and he looked pale, and he was clammy. He was hurting between his back shoulder blades. It was just, we looked up heart attack symptoms. He had every one of them except the pain shooting down the arm. And when we got there, this is just for you guys information, they said not everybody at all has that. Like, that's not like a requirement that's going to hurt down your arm. So if you have everything else but that, don't let that keep you from going. We get there, his blood pressure is high. It's 200 and something over 100 and something. Something is definitely going on. They get him back there and start running tests. And I'm just thankful at that point that we made it there. That whole way down there, driving, I remember the thoughts going through my head. I was thinking, no. This cannot be how it ends. This cannot be it. Like, I'm not ready for this. And I know everybody probably thinks that's lost someone, but it just, when you feel like your life as you know it is flashing before your eyes, and that you're so close to it just radically changing forever, it changes you. And I'm different than I was last Thursday. And I don't know that I'll ever go back to the way I was before, and I don't want to, because I told you all the things that have happened this year, and we've just been living life, but at the same time, life's been passing us by in our busyness, and it just brought everything into perspective. As we were there, they did a lot of tests. They started to decide they didn't think it was his heart. Something's definitely going on, but they didn't feel like he was having a heart attack right then. So they gave him some meds, and they do feel like, I know a lot of people will have anxiety attacks that feel like a heart attack. This was not an anxiety attack. They do feel like something is going on, but they're just not exactly sure yet. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. He is wearing a heart monitor for a bit, and he's already been to, that was just last week, and then he's already this week been to a 3-hour cardiac appointment. And he's wearing, like I said, the heart monitor. He has a stress test at the end of the week. They're covering all the bases. They feel good about his heart. We've already learned a couple of things I didn't know that is going on with his heart. Nothing major or anything, but just things to know and be aware of. So we're also exploring some other things. So I'll keep you posted on that. Just keep Ben in your prayers. He's not down and out by any means. They didn't tell him he had to lay up in the house or anything like that. It's just we've got to get some things checked out, and we've got to get him healthy. And so I do want to be sensitive, though. Some of you I know have stories that don't end with your loved one walking away or living through. And I just want to say I'm sorry. That's really, really tough. And it's hard to lose anybody. I know when I lost my dad, I didn't even know how it was going to rock my world at the time. I thought I was so strong, and that looking back is like so silly. I was like just in shock, and the shock wave was to come. But I cannot imagine losing a close loved one suddenly like that right before your eyes. Like I told you, we lost the girl that was close to us earlier this year, but we weren't there. We didn't see it with our own eyes. We weren't in the home, in the house, like her family had to be. And I know some of you have walked some horrific roads, losing your family members to things like heart attacks or car accidents or just sudden, unexpected things. And I just want to say, I'm sorry. And it's not enough, but my heart goes out to you. But I feel like last Friday, for whatever reason, because I don't think that God chooses to heal some people and not heal some people. I don't think he's sitting up there like, yeah, I'm going to heal them. Nope, not them. Nope. They've had enough chances. They're done. That's just not how it works. There's so many things in this world, and I don't pretend to understand it all, but I do know each and every one of us has free will, and there's so many things in this world that are a culmination of so many choices that either we've made or other people have made that were completely out of our control, that lead to situations that just simply can't be explained. And I know that sounds so like cheap and like, yeah, that's just a cop-out, but I just don't think there's always an explanation. And I don't know why that Friday Ben was okay. But I'm so glad that he is, and I'm so glad that we get another chance. And that's where I want to end this is, if you're not ready, if the Lord came back right now, or if you drew your last breath on this earth and you left, are you happy right now thinking about how you're living your life? Are you happy in your relationships with your family and your friends and those closest to you? Are you happy with how you're taking care of yourself and how you're taking care of your health and your body? Are you happy with those things? Are you content? Are you at peace with those things? Because if not, and you still are drawing breath in your lungs, it is not too late to make changes. And that's where we are. And this is not another video you see people put out like, help me stay motivated, I'm gonna go on a health kick. This is, we got a slap in the face that if you don't, here is what could be in your future. And it's not a future I want. And so this is us living through one of the most stressful years of our lives and deciding we cannot let all of these things be the end of us because we were too busy to take care of ourselves, because we were too busy to reach out to our loved ones, because we got our feelings hurt at someone, so now we haven't spoken in months, or whatever the case may be. This is us saying, you know, we hear you, God. Any moment could be our last. And that doesn't mean we live in fear, but it means we live in awareness of the gift we've been given, that is life and people. And we start to cherish it for what it is, which is very, very precious and special. And I just want to encourage y'all to do the same. If you're not ready and you aren't at peace, figure out why and make changes. I've sent some very raw, heartfelt texts since Friday, because I don't want to leave anything unsaid in this life. And I encourage you to do that. I know this video is kind of all over the place, but it's where we are. And I don't want this to come off sad, because I'm not sad. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for another chance to get things right. I'm thankful that for whatever reason, I'm not sitting here a widow today. And I know the longer that you're married and that you live on this earth, sorry, one of you is going to pass on one of these days. Some of you have already lost your soulmate, the love of your life. But I'm just thankful it wasn't last Friday and that we have a little more time. So, turn this video off. Go hug your spouse or your parents or your kids or your friends or your dog. Send some texts that you've been needing to send. If you can't call and say things in person, send it in text. Get up and go for a walk. Fix yourself some water. Throw away the junk food. Whatever it is you need to do, you know what it is. Do it. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait to start on Monday. Do it today. I love you guys so much. I just thank you for walking this journey with us. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.